Is the new metal EP by Jason Newsted's new group, Newsted, a slap in the face to Metallica? Find out tonight at 11. Hey guys, what's up? You're watching TheMetalManTV. My name is Mark Maya, aka TheMetalMan1112, and today I'm doing a new EP review on one that recently came out. But before I start, I would like to tell you that I have some help. I have a very special guest with me. You guys remember Taco Man Super Funky, aka Ross Rucker Jr. Ross, why don't you come in, man?
Hi, YouTube.
Today we're going to be reviewing which EP, Ross?
The new EP from Jason Newsted. Newsted.
Yeah, if you guys don't know who Jason Newsted is, you live under a rock, because he's very famous. He did a couple work with a couple of bands, maybe one you might know as Metallica, right? 10 years from Metallica. You have
I'm
some
sorry,
homework.
I live under a rock.
You have some homework to do.
I'm sorry, I listened to Pre-Black. Go on! I went there! No, but that was kind of like a fail because
I'm sorry.
Even though he's Pre-Black, he was still in the band.
Yeah.
With Cliff, yeah!
For those of you who don't know who Jason Newsted is, we'll clue you in a little bit about his history. He's had about 10 years or so with Metallica. He did album work from And Justice for All the way up to, was it Reload? He did the last live album they had, S&M, as well.
Pretty good. I like it.
It was pretty good, yeah. It's definitely a nice...
Good listen if you've never heard it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty...
It's
like
got
if you're really into classical music, but you're also, you know, have a secret life of like, I'm so ashamed to listen to metal, that's not classical, you know, listen to the album and you'll...
It's a great symphony of Metallica
your ears
work.
will be happy.
He did some work for Ozzy Osbourne, and his 8 years was in Voivod. I don't know if that's how you say it, the Canadian metal band. Pretty awesome. On this new EP, Jason's rocking a trio group. So it's basically straightforward. It's got 4 tracks, about 22 minutes long. And I think this was recorded in his own little studio.
Yeah, it's his own little studio.
I don't know if there was really much real like professional studio work, but Jason kind of did it with his group in his own little terms.
It said that he did it in his own personal studio.
It doesn't say if he actually produced it or not, but it wasn't his studio.
For this review, we'll just say that we would just assume that he did it.
That he did, yeah. So, all right. Before we get underway with the review, we just want to make very clear, a little disclaimer, if you will, that this is our sole opinions about this EP. I did a lot of research on reviews and stuff, and a lot of people are giving it some real praise. We're probably going to be the first ones to really heavily critique this EP, so we really hope that we don't really offend anybody, especially, God forbid, if Jason Newsted watches this and he calls us a bunch of dickheads or something. We love you.
We love you, Jason. We're not the gods of music. We don't say, oh, because we say we like it, dislike it, doesn't mean it's good or bad. Because we're just, not only are we musicians, we listen very closely more than just the appreciators. So we're judging this more on
a musical basis.
The production and so. But not only are we musicians, we also appreciate music. So we're going a little more in depth than just saying, yeah, so
it's pretty good, nice mix, whatever. Alright, so let's get underway with the review on Metal, the new EP. Alright, so, Ross, tell me, what is your first, impression, so to speak, on the first track of Jason Newsted's new EP, Soldier Head, which, by the way, was released back in December with a music video. Why don't you tell our viewers what you thought on the first track, Soldier Head?
That's all I got.
Nah, but on a more serious note, the first track clocks in about 4:16. It's Soldier Head. This was released back in December with the music video. Our first impressions.
For me, it sounded like, when I first listened to it, his the first thing that got me was the vocals. So his vocals, he sounded like Dave Mustaine if he phrased it like James Hetfield, and the music sounded like Motorhead thrashy. He must have, you know, like got influence at the time, you know. But you can hear some Metallica. I'm not saying like, oh yeah, but he's like, you know, well, I'm trying to bring Metallica back. Where is he? Anyway, you know.
Yeah.
He has some influences on this EP and on this song, for sure.
Well, my take on it was, I definitely heard Motorhead influence in there. Not only just the way that the song was actually put together, but maybe like the vocal type. It did sound like the grittiness of Dave Mustaine, the rhythmic impressions of Hetfield, and a lot of other thrash metal influences. He has also a lot of influence from Bellinger from Voivod, the band that he was in for 8 years.
Yeah.
It does kind of sound like him a little bit if you really go back and listen.
Well, how the music was put together, it was kind of like verse, chorus, little solo, verse. You know, like it's like kind of like the usual.
A lot of the verses were reused. They weren't like variated verses. It was like the same verse. It was like almost like a copy-paste kind of feel in a lot of the song. What really could be perceived as the solos weren't really solos. They were just kind of snippets of, you know, kind of like a very Kirk Hammett influenced guitar playing too. He has got a lot of the wah and the chords and stuff.
He must have used his signature Crybaby for sure.
Oh, he definitely did. That definitely sounds like it. But something like that. The solo at the end of the song, he went all out on the solo. It was like an awesome, well written. It was really short. Like just he went crazy for about, what was it, 15 seconds maybe?
Yeah,
15 seconds?
Less than 15 seconds.
Oh, maybe less.
I don't know.
And
I can't tell.
but it was just a really, I don't know, just kind of repetitive feel. It was a nice introduction to the EP. I'm not gonna lie. It was a nice foot forward. So what was it about the mix that got you?
Well, you see, I'm a bass player, and I kind of get in the field. If you know him, how Jason was in Metallica, if you've seen documentaries and stuff, he's very picky with bass frequencies. He likes the bass to stand out. If you listen to And Justice for All,
It was. I didn't hear that.
I didn't what? Put it back.
What bass?
What
bass? We don't have bass.
So if anything, I'm like, okay, this is a solo project. If anything, he wants the bass in your face. In some metal, what they would like to do is the bass would act more as a more beef to guitar riffage. So it's like, you know, that's understandable, but there's a part in the middle where they just bring up the mids and you just hear this, and you just hear like this, you know, stand-up bass, and I'm like, well, why didn't they use that in the first place? And you just hear this epic, you know, riffage with the bass, and like, it's just, they could change different rhythms and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, that's sick, but I'm like, and then later, after that, I think that's why around the solo, they just bring it down, and you're like,
yeah,
where did the bass go? If anything, I would be like, why didn't they just, maybe, I don't know, like, keep it that level. I mean, it's a trio, bass, guitar, drums. Why didn't they make the bass more like that little section?
In your face,
it
yeah,
really
like it
got
was.
to me. I'm just like,
there is a 10-second or something, a 10-15-second part in the song where all you hear is everybody drop out, like the chord, and all you hear is Newsted going.
Like it's an epic
like
riff. The riff on the
epic,
song.
fuzzy, but then it just drops right back to where it was again by the time of the solo, and we don't really get that. Godsnake. Godsnake is the second track. Another thing I want to note about this EP for you guys, every track gets longer and longer on this EP. I don't get that, but because that really makes it feel like it drags.
I don't know. Like first impressions when you listen to it, you're gonna be like, when is this gonna? Especially, I think this is the track where I'm kind of like,
this is definitely the track.
When is this song gonna end? You know, that's usually a bad impression. I'm always a person where I'm like, I need to listen to the song to the end. I can't give my opinion unless I listen to the entire thing through. But this actually made me like, okay. Oh, 2 minutes and he's finished it.
I don't. It is boring as hell.
It did
I'm
not
sorry.
motivate me to listen to it throughout the time. It was just like
the riffage was kind of
plain.
It was plain. It was flat. It was the same. It was. I think there was only like 2 riffs in that song, 2 or 3 variations of the same riff, and the vocals were like kind of the same melody. It was just really just
even like the EQing of like the instruments were kind of like dulled down a bit.
Yeah, and the other thing was that it didn't really have any solo. It was just kind of like a copy of the melody on the guitar, kind of with harmonies and stuff.
Well, so pretty much second song, we don't really have much to say about it. So we were kind of like, I mean, we even gave it a few listens, and you just, you know, not a lot of songs that make you want to like, okay, I'm done.
You're like, this next. You're
like,
kind of done after a while.
I don't know. It could have been a filler.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it was.
Maybe not.